She just walks and her teammates make money. I swear to God, I don't understand why people hate on her. Caitlyn is just a walking money machine. I don't understand why her teammates don't go out their way to help her. Like, I don't think people understand, especially some of her teammates, the opportunities that they can get if they just play to her. They just give her the ball. They screen for her. They look for her.
Money doesn't grow on trees, but around Caitlin Clark, it has started to look that way. Teammates who share a press table with her or even just a passing moment on camera have a habit of walking away with new business opportunities.
Ty Harris said something about CC fans, and Caitlin Clark still helped out Ty Harris in the last game. So she's saying y'all be preying on people's downfalls. For one, when you're an athlete, a professional athlete, you should already know in the back of your mind, like, damn, there are going to be criticism will be there. It's inevitable. So yes, there will be people preying on your downfall because you are involved in sports. You're an athlete. One party wins, one party loses. Now let's bring up the second part of this statement, right? Y'all ain't got to put down others to support y'all faith. Once again, Ty Harris was playing into the narrative that, hey, Caitlin Clark fans are disgusting. Hey, Caitlin Clark fans put one down to lift another up.
It's become one of the more unusual patterns in modern sports marketing. And yet, even with that kind of financial gravity sitting in the room, some players have still taken shots at her and her fan base. What happened when one of her own teammates tried to call her out in front of reporters turned into something else entirely, a lesson in how quickly goodwill can turn into leverage. To understand how this specific moment came together, it helps to look at where the tension started. In early July, the Indiana Fever beat the Las Vegas Aces 84-68, a game Clark did not play in due to a back issue. Fever guard Tiasha Harris struggled that night, finishing 4 points on 0 for 4 shooting. A Clark fan criticized her performance online, then deleted the post. Harris responded anyway. "Y'all be preying on people's downfalls," she wrote, adding that fans didn't need to put down other players just to support their favorite. She followed it with a note about the win itself, saying the team got the result it needed, regardless of anyone's shooting line. The post spread quickly, with some fans defending her and others accusing her of stirring locker room drama that, according to Harris, didn't exist. Roughly 5 weeks later, the two players found themselves seated next to each other at a very different kind of event. On August 14th, the Fever beat the Dallas Wings 98-87, with Clark finishing the game with 29 points and 10 assists, and Harris adding 15 points on 5 for 5 shooting, including 5 three-pointers. Afterward, the pair sat together for the post-game press conference alongside head coach Stephanie White. Sitting on the table next to Clark's microphone was a can of Olipop. At some point during the session, Clark quietly moved it out of frame and set it on the floor. Harris noticed and asked her about it on the spot, wondering aloud why superstars always do that with products they aren't sponsored by. It's a fairly common practice among athletes who don't want to be seen appearing to endorse a brand they have no relationship with. But Harris's question, asked in real time and caught on camera, gave the moment a life of its own. Clark didn't get defensive. She didn't bring up the earlier tweet or treat the question as some kind of attack. She simply explained that she doesn't drink the product, then pivoted the conversation toward her teammate, suggesting that another brand should sign Harris instead. It was a small gesture, delivered with the same offhand humor she's shown in other press conferences, including days earlier telling a reporter she liked her Canadian accent, a clip that also went viral. But this one had a business angle attached to it. Olipop was watching. Within a day of the clip circulating online, the company's official account replied directly to Harris with a 2-word message: "Girl, let's chat." It was a clear signal that the brand was interested in bringing her into the fold, and it turned what started as a pointed question into an unplanned advertising opportunity. A player raises an eyebrow at a superstar's habit, the superstar jokes that someone should hire her instead, and within hours, a real company takes her up on it. Clark didn't just get through an awkward moment cleanly. She handed her teammate a potential deal without trying to. This isn't the only time something like this has happened around her. In September of last year, during the Fever's playoff run, Clark was on an Instagram Live with several teammates including Sydney Colson, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston when a food delivery order the group had placed came back with missing items. Colson, visibly frustrated, said she was pissed off about it on the stream. Clark asked which service she'd used, then told viewers watching the live stream to tag DoorDash so the company would see it. The company responded the next morning with an Instagram video captioned "Forgive us at Sidey J. Colson," showing staff at a bakery presenting Colson with 100 free cookies and a note reading, "Sorry Sid, enjoy your 100 cookies." Clark commented under the post that the company was so forgiven, and DoorDash replied by thanking her for sending business their way. It was a smaller moment than the Olipop exchange, but it followed the same basic pattern. Something happens near Clark, brands notice, and a teammate benefits. That pattern shows up again when you look at how much the rest of the Fever roster has grown commercially over the past year. Aaliyah Boston has built a partnership with Adidas and appeared in a national ad campaign for Aflac alongside Lexi Hall. Kelsey Mitchell was announced as the newest athlete signed to Puma's basketball line in late June, joining the brand's roster of professional players. Hull herself has assembled one of the deeper endorsement portfolios on the team with partnerships tied to Amazon Fashion, KFC, Athleta, and Sweetgreen, in addition to launching her own beauty brand, Forta Cosmetics, earlier this year. Sophie Cunningham has become one of the most visible earners on the roster, signing with Arby's last summer, appearing on Good Morning America to promote the brand's menu, and adding an Adidas partnership on top of it. None of these deals exist purely because of Clark. Each of these players has built her own profile through performance and personality, but it's difficult to separate the surge in league-wide sponsorship interest from the platform her presence has created around the entire team. That's really the core of the argument critics tend to miss. Clark isn't just a scorer or a passer who happens to draw a crowd. Her games have become events. Arena attendance records have fallen repeatedly since she entered the league. Television ratings for Fever games routinely outperform the rest of the WNBA schedule, and national networks have moved multiple Indiana games into more favorable broadcast windows because of the audience she brings. That visibility doesn't stay contained to her. Every teammate on the floor, every opposing player, and every brand with a logo anywhere near the broadcast gets more exposure on a night she plays than they would almost anywhere else in the league. Nobody is required to be a fan of hers, and disagreeing with how she's covered or marketed isn't unreasonable. But treating her presence as a threat rather than an opportunity is, at minimum, a missed read on how the business side of the sport currently works. What stands out about how she's handled all of this isn't just the shooting or the passing that gets most of the attention. It's the consistency of her response when someone tries to put her in an uncomfortable spot publicly. She didn't get combative with Harris, she didn't bring up old social media posts, and she didn't try to win the exchange. She answered the question directly, then used the moment to help the person who asked it. That's been the pattern in nearly every version of this situation. Whether it's a teammate questioning her on camera or a stray comment turning into a marketing opportunity for someone else entirely, the value she creates doesn't stop with her own game. It extends to whoever happens to be standing next to her when the cameras are rolling. The ratings data backs that up in concrete terms. Indiana's matchup against the Dallas Wings on August 14th, the same game that produced the Olipop moment, drew 1.62 million viewers on ION, the most-watched WNBA broadcast in that network's history. 2 days later, the Fever's win over the Atlanta Dream averaged 2.6 million viewers on ESPN, the most-watched WNBA game ever on cable, with a peak audience of 4 million. Those aren't isolated spikes. Earlier in the season, a Fever Liberty broadcast on CBS averaged 2.579 million viewers, ranking as the second most watched WNBA game on any network since Nielsen began tracking the sport in 2000. All 44 of Indiana's regular season games were picked up by a national broadcast partner this year, a first in league history that no other franchise came close to matching. Even games Clark missed with injury drew unusually large crowds, including a Fever Aces matchup that pulled 55 million viewers on ESPN without her on the floor at all. That's the split worth paying attention to. The numbers hold up with or without her in the lineup, which tells you the audience isn't just showing up for one player, it's showing up for the team she built into appointment viewing. When a broadcast partner sees numbers like that, the players sharing the court with her become more valuable by association, whether they're the one taking the final shot or the one sitting 2 seats down at the press table. Harris didn't need Clark's help to shoot 5 for 5 against Dallas, but the fact that millions of people were already tuned in to watch that game happen is exactly why a 2-word reply from a beverage company carried the weight it did. The platform was already built. She just happened to be standing on it at the right moment.